Okay, we're back. Hello. This is the
Hello.
trial run. Welcome to Panels and Pages, the YouTube series where I just talk about comics and whatever I'm interested in. And this is sort of like a mini experiment I'm calling Dip into the Ink, where me and or a guest kind of just go through a comic and say what we like or dislike or are really interested about it. Today I have my oldest but not best friend Rodolfo Juarez Pinedo. Hey Rudy.
Hello. Hey, thanks for inviting me.
That's just
I
an
like I
old
like being part of this experiment.
yeah, his parents didn't want him to experiment with me, but I figured it out anyways.
We worked our way around it.
but
But
to
yeah, I
mhm.
like I like already you're going with the Transformer references already,
Oh
dropping in the
yeah,
oldest
I
oldest
am.
friend.
Oh my god, that's a joke for everyone unaware. That's a joke about how we've been friends for like a long time ago, and I used to be like, "Oh, best friend," and Rudy would be like, "You're my oldest friend," and I'd be like, "Ah," it would just
There's a
annoy.
difference.
There's a difference, but
Know your place.
today we are talking about the Skybounds #1 Transformers with the creative team of Daniel Warren Johnson, Mike Spicer, and I wanted to bring you on, Rudy, because you're a big Transformers person. You're the biggest Transformers person I
Huge.
know. Like the way I could go on about Teen Titans is the way that you can go on about like Transformers. And when I say that, I mean we could go on for days, like
Honestly, I
forever.
could. Yeah, man. Like I love the cartoon shows since I
Mhm.
was a kid. The Michael Bay movies when I was a kid. But growing up, okay, not so much the Michael Bay movies. But then I really got into the comic books back in 2018. I first
Mhm.
started with More Than Meets the Eye
Mhm.
by James Roberts, and then his continuation of Lost Light, and
Mhm.
those two are just some of the best reads I've ever read in my
Mhm.
life. Uh, he really challenged the status quo, what it means for the whole
Mhm.
Transformers trope, of it's more than just a war between good guys and bad guys.
Mhm.
There's so many layers beneath it, and I really loved how he also mixed elements of the queer community in there as
Mhm.
well, and just the artistic style. So ever since then, I've been chasing that high of like, oh, I want a really good Transformers read. So I thank you for shout out to Noah too for buying me the first
Mhm.
copy, first edition of this new series.
That's
And
how I bribed
I,
you to come on.
honestly, yeah, he was like, can you please join this, do this thing with me? I'm like, oh, I'm kind of busy. Like, I bought you a comic book. All right, I'm in. So I'm glad that it's sad that IDW kind of after the end of More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light didn't really grab its footing and tried doing another reboot and just didn't
Mhm.
quite grab on. It had some good standalone features, but I feel like it kind of fizzled out, unfortunately,
Mhm.
because the license got the license with Hasbro ended.
Mhm.
But I'm looking forward to see what this new publisher has in mind. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I know very little about Transformers. I've read one or two issues, but I know virtually nothing. And what I think is very interesting is that this is a new publisher, Skybound. I believe they're a mini. They're like underneath Image Comics, so it's like a subsidiary of
Hmm.
them. It's I believe a brand new thing. I don't know what they're going to reference, but what you and I are going to do today is we're going to go through this comic. We're going to try to
Right.
like see what we enjoy. And first of all, what do you think of the cover? We're just going through the cover. What do you think of it?
Through the cover,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, I love it. I really do love it. It,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of gives like the classic Generation One vibes of
Mm-hmm.
even like Marvel comics back in like the 80s and 90s. Um, the
Mm-hmm.
one thing that stood out to me is the fists
Mm-hmm.
and it's as you go through the panels on, you notice like they're kind of humanistic, almost as if they're wearing gloves, and that's actually how the old Transformer comics had them. To me, that always stood out as weird. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what? They don't look robotic, man. But I guess this is just a nod to the classic
Mm-hmm.
trope, which is what I absolutely love. And then
Mm-hmm.
obviously OP Optimus Prime has his classic Generation One model, which
Mm-hmm.
you gotta love. You gotta love the classic, right? So I love it. I really do love it, and I love Warren Johnson's colors throughout this whole
Oh, that's
issue
Mike
number one.
Spicer. Mike Spicer's
Oh,
colors.
Mike Spicer's
It's
color
like we're working on it.
is
Mm-hmm.
I think he did a great job, even as well with with James Warren with the coloring and
Mhm.
the drawing all together. It reminds you of when you introduced me to the Wonder Woman uh
Mhm.
feature of like the world ending and all that. Yeah.
it was like an Elseworld story. It was Wonder Woman Dead Earth.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So when you
Mhm.
told me like, oh, he made that one, I was like, oh snap! I
Mhm.
was ready. I was already hooked from the start. So I love the first panel. Good start. Here we
Mhm.
go. I like it.
I
What
think it's
about you?
very interesting because it's not anything dynamic. It's not like this is the A cover. There's a bunch of variants, of course, but
Mhm,
this is the A like main cover. And it's nothing dynamic. It's just Optimus in like a blaze of fire. Like he's running towards something.
mhm.
He has like a car crash underneath him. And I think it's interesting because I wonder if they didn't want to give anything away. They just wanted to like, oh, here's Optimus, here's him doing his thing, and this is all we're gonna give you. And you get to see his design, and that's it.
You know
The-
what? You
Mhm,
could bring a good point there because again, I think maybe it leaves a lot of Transformers fans up for
mhm,
imagination. Like, okay, we've seen something like this similar, Optimus Prime looking heroic,
mhm,
ready for battle fight. And you're right, they're not giving too much away. Uh, and then that has kind of has me thinking like, huh, so me as a Transformers fan is okay. Let's see
mhm,
what they got. Are they gonna like break the norm and try
mhm,
to do their own thing? Or are they gonna stick to the classic tropes and do what everyone's used to and likes?
mhm. And I think that's very interesting. I know from what I know, Transformers fans are very picky about design. Apparently, I think they're just like this needs to look this, Super
Yeah.
Frog needs to look that way, and Treble Bass needs
Yes.
to look that way, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not too picky about designs.
Hmm.
Actually, I'm kind of more for the new wave.
Hmm.
I've always liked it when publishers or whether it's through video, comic books,
Hmm.
cartoons, video games. I like it when they kind of move away from the classic Generation
Hmm.
One look because I think as I guess you could say I'm a fairly new Transformers fan.
Hmm.
Obviously, I'm not like I like those older than me that have been growing up since the 80s
Hmm.
watching the classic Generation 1 cartoon. I'm sure for them they love the classic look and to them
Hmm.
that will always like the original look will always be number one for them. I've always liked it when they always broke that style, even with
Hmm.
like the cartoon show with the Transformers animated, how they made
Hmm.
everyone look different. I love that. I always like it when they try to again bring something new to the table.
All right. Let's jump to the first interior Transformers Energon Universe. Energon Universe is like the publisher's big thing. Like it's this, I think another property in G.I. Joe. They're sort of doing like the
Yeah.
movie thing where spoilers for Beast War if you haven't seen Transformers Beast War. But at the end they're just like, oh, G.I. Joe. And then I think they're doing a
Yeah.
similar thing in the comic. You know, they're trying to have that synergy.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
IDW has done that. I think they had yeah. Whenever you buy one property of Hasbro, you got to bring all the properties. So I wouldn't be surprised if they bring My Little Pony to the table at one point,
I'm
just like
waiting for
IDW
Barbie to
did,
show up.
or Barbie, you know, or with Mattel, right? So so when I honestly, I wasn't a fan of the GI Joe
Hmm.
crossovers with IDW. It was a little. Like, oh, I don't want to see no freaking
Hmm.
humans. I want to see some robots transform.
Yeah.
So we'll see though. We'll see how
Mhm.
they handle it in this time around though.
So we cut to the first page. It's these
Whoa.
different panels where it's cutting with like human fight and then spaceship and then human, then alien and human. And I think it's supposed to. What do you think of this first page? Like this just establishing page. That what do you thought of it?
I was a little lost for a second. Oh, what's going on? Is this is because I first thing that went to my mind. The first thing that I saw with my eyes was Optimus Prime looking
Mm-hmm.
dead. I was like, oh
Mm-hmm.
snap! You know, like what happened? Was what like what did I miss? Is he
Mm-hmm.
dead or is he alive? And one thing kind of got to me is like, I think he's alive. I'm not too sure
Mm-hmm.
because this is a classic thing with Transformers. When they die, they turn colorless. They lose
Mm-hmm.
their color. Um, as we kind of go see it later on in the pages, they don't kind of go through that classic trope.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but so this is where I was like, is he okay? Did he just get battle
Mm-hmm.
damaged? Forget the human with his missing eye. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm
It's just
more
like
concerned about
okay.
Optimus Prime. Oh my god, like
Yeah.
what happened to him? I do again, like I love the shots, I love the
Mm-hmm.
colors, I love the drawings of it. Um, it's a good hook. I'm like, what happened? What's going
Mm-hmm.
on?
I'm
Great way
very
to start.
interested. And then we cut to the next page where it's this very I love the details in this bar. It almost feels like a
Yeah.
sketchbook type thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm assuming because you look in the background and you see like a war helmet in the corner, and you see like the golden eagle holding the American flag, and then on the right you can see there's like a doodle, and it looks like sort of a war thing. Like if you look in the upper right in the corner of the page, there's
That's
sort of,
right.
and so I
That's
just assumed this was a veterans bar, and that's why it brings me back to the first page where it's like this character, the dad, he's a veteran, and I wonder if it's cutting back to Optimus, who's also like kind of a veteran.
a soldier. Yeah.
So
What
that's
kind
why
of
it was
wars are
cutting
they
back.
fighting? Hmm.
Exactly. So that's why I thought that first page was like alien struggle, human struggle, alien struggle, human struggle, and then it just kind of intercuts that way. And we're introduced. We get our first name. We get Spike,
Hmm.
this kid, and we also get Jerry, this guy in the corner who's like, "I saw a fighter jet come down from space," and it's
I
interesting. And we keep talking and talking, and it's just a lot of establishing stuff. Now, I know that you're not the biggest fan of the human element of Transformers. You love like, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, you love the robo drama, like the robots themselves.
I love the robo
Mhm.
drama. I-
What do you think of this human stuff going on right now? Just as a
The
like first
humans.
opening.
I was a little lost. I'm like, who are they talking about? Okay, so when they said Sam's, okay, that's Sam Witwicky, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's something that popped in my mind. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
they're bringing back some of the classic human characters. They bring back the dad.
Mm-hmm.
I was still like, who are they talking about? Because I think at one point they're like, um, Jimmy. They're talking about Jimmy. Like, who
Mm-hmm.
the hell is Jimmy? So I was kind of lost here, you know. So is he the one who
Yeah.
died? Is it the one in the first page, one with the missing eye, the one that got wounded? You know, that's kind of what That's why I kind of
Mm-hmm.
didn't like when I was reading this comics with the humans.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of seemed like there was missing gaps,
Mm-hmm.
and I was quite lost as to like the what's the human story
Mm-hmm.
and again, so that's me critiquing again.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna do like a human robot relation thing, you got to do it pretty well. I
Mm-hmm.
think as I'm looking back,
Uh-huh. I
IDW did, yeah,
uh-huh. No, go ahead.
IDW did it good um, with Transformers and the Wreckers when
Mm-hmm.
they brought in a human part of their crew, and she would, and then there's always that classic crew with Transformers like, oh, it reminds me that 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 we too are humans too and we deserve love. And that's kind of when you bring a human to the mix with the robot drama, the humans are there to remind the robots of like, oh, you know, like there's beauty and family and
Mm-hmm.
community and you got to admire the humans because even though they have shorter lives than we do, they make their lives count. Whereas what we've
Mm-hmm.
been fighting for endless years, centuries, and a millennia. That's kind of like the
Mm-hmm.
trope they always bring. So I'm interested to see how they do it here. Again, I'm a little lost
Yeah,
with this page.
I get what they're. I think it's sort of like they're trying to establish like how these characters interact without being like too obvious. Because if the kid shows up to a bar and goes, "Dad, your brother cousin," I don't know who Jimmy is too,
Yeah,
but he's just
I'm
like,
assuming a brother or
"Dad,
something.
are
Yeah,
you
yeah.
drinking because Uncle Jimmy died?" You know what I mean? He
It's-
can't do that, so they have to like. This is the very real interaction.
Mm,
You know, it's a
okay.
very real, like, it's a very like human thing to be like, "What are you doing? Is that Jimmy's?" Like, if you're sort of like filling in the blanks without telling you exactly what's going on. And I kind of wonder if later on in the series there's going to be a parallel because I've seen the first Transformers movie and I've seen the latest one, Beast War. Is that the one, right?
Yes, Rise of the
And
Beasts.
the main character, what was his name? The main human
Noah.
character. Oh my
It's
gosh!
not
All
named
right.
after you.
No, no. I feel like that movie tried to make a lot of parallels between Noah and Optimus in a way. So I wonder if they're gonna
Yeah.
do the same thing in this comic, where like maybe the dad's gonna relate to Optimus because they're both veterans. You know what I mean? And maybe this kid might relate to
Oh,
Bumblebee. You know what I mean? Like I feel like maybe they'll set that up.
maybe.
Hmm.
See, that's what I like about you, man. You always see the different perspective. Me, I like
Hmm.
everything on the table.
Yeah.
I like everything described and broken down for me.
You know what? And there's nothing wrong with that. Some people are
Yeah,
very much into indirect storytelling, and some people are just like, just tell me what's going on, and then I'll
yeah,
enjoy it. Just tell
that's
me
how
what's
I am.
happening. I am tired. Just tell me what's happening.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm a lazy reader. Just give me
But
lay it all on down for me. But again,
uh,
like I love
uh
the details. I love
oh, I
especially
love the
that first
color,
bar
the
shot.
faces.
Colors
Oh my gosh,
amazing.
the
Yeah,
colors, the faces are
yeah.
so expressive.
I love the bar shot.
The
That's the best part.
details, the bar
Hmm.
shot's amazing. I can't even think of how long that took to draw, but
Nah.
the details on the face, they're very expressive. It uses a lot of shadow to show like if someone's upset or something, and I think that's sort of a trend of the artist of Daniel Warren Johnson. I on his other works, I've seen him do that a lot. Like when he's trying to express emotion, instead of showing the whole face, he'll like color part of it black to show how they're feeling.
And I love
But
that. It really sets the mood.
it really does. And we're gonna jump to the next page, where it is. Oh, they're. I think some guy named Davey is picking up the dad for work, and I think this is really fucked up. There's a line that the dad's telling the son to grow up, and he's like, "Eventually, this is my dad's voice. Eventually, you're gonna have to grow up, Spike." And Spike's just like, "And be like you," and he's just like, "Let's go," and they just leave.
So that's a sign like, okay, things aren't good between the two.
It's
So
not good.
so what will bring them together? A robot war? I don't know. We'll see. But then boom, again, like I feel like every page was like this cool shot. And the shot that I really loved and I was attracted to was the van shot. Boom.
Oh yeah, that's so cool. This girl Carly, she has like, I don't know what era this takes place in because it was kind of hard to figure out.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But this is very much like 80s Dungeons and Dragons, like wizard on the van and a guy like that looks like Conan the Barbarian maybe or something.
Yeah.
And it's
There's
very
Gandalf
like,
the Grey right there.
Yeah, Gandalf the Grey. That is, you're right. See, I didn't see that. That's Gandalf the Grey. I can't believe I didn't see that. But he's like, "Hey, Carly," and she's like, "Oh, sorry, your dad sucks." And that's that page. Very fun. We go to the next one where they're at a quarry, and let me tell you, if you're like middle of America, quarries are the shit. Apparently,
I guess so. Yeah. There was a Stranger Things. I was introduced to the quarry.
Well, because we live in LA. We live in LA where like
we live in
the mountains are farther than you'd think. So we like our hills are to us, our little mountains in our neighborhood are their hills. So
honestly, you're right, man. So this makes you live like, man, what would it be like living by a quarry? Just jumping in the water. It's and we see the movie It, same thing. There's a quarry, they all hang out. So I guess that's middle America stuff right there.
But this page, I love, first of all, I love the entire border around it is stars. It doesn't have the normal white borders like around a comic page. It's all stars that leads to the corner.
You're right.
And I love that. And I think this is very interesting where it kind of establishes this girl, Carly, wants to go to art school. They don't have the money, but she's encouraging him to like tell his dad he wants to be an astronaut.
Yeah, it really sets shows like the type of relationship do they have. I think they're nice friends. I don't think they're boyfriend girlfriend yet. I don't know.
No, I think they're giving friend vibes.
Friend vibes, right? Yeah, they got each other's back. But those are some friends, you go holding hands, you putting your hand on their cheek. I never put my hand on your cheek, man.
Not yet. Oh, we'll see.
Not yet.
Not yet. Now we have something to do this weekend. But there we go. We go to the next page where I had to read this page like 3 times to understand what was happening. Like there's an earthquake, and that looks like a deep fall. Like they're falling really
massive
deep.
fall.
No,
keep going.
And I was just surprised that they weren't dead because it the way it's illustrated, it looks like a huge fall. So I was just like, oh.
That was my problem with this issue. I kind of feel like, again, there's missing gaps where I had to reread something. I had to go back like, oh, what just happened? So this is one of those moments I'm like, was there a rock fall? I didn't know there was an earthquake until later on. It was said. It was said intentionally. I caused this earthquake kind of thing.
Yeah, because I thought like they were on a cliff and it fell. And I was like really confused by the panel because the cliff they're standing on isn't big, but when we go to the next page, it's a whole spaceship.
Yeah,
like I was a little well, first of all, this page is beautiful. Like you said, like they have big pieces. Like the detail work on the engines is insane.
Same thing. When I saw that, I was like, damn, how long did it take him to do this?
How long did it take?
I'm glad he took his time with it.
I'm glad he took his time. The detail is insane. But also, how far did they fall?
Seriously, but then now it looks like they didn't fall because now they're just like hanging on like the edge of the engine. Like, I don't know.
Did they fall at an angle?
Yeah, did they fall into the engine? I don't know.
And this is very nitpicky stuff. We understand that.
That's true. But yeah, gotta give him props. It's very.
Gotta give us props. I feel like we might just be overanalyzing, but I love it. And the girl Carly, it's like, oh, this is crazy. But then the kid keeps going, and we're open to this scene. As a Transformers fan, seeing all of these bots just like dead, basically. What was your first thought?
It reminds me of the Transformers movie.
The animated? Which one?
Oh,
There's
the
so
first
many.
one, the very
Oh,
first
okay,
one.
the animated first
Transformers
one.
the movie. Yeah, the one
Okay,
like in the 90s or like
was it in the '90s? I
late
don't
80s,
remember.
late 80s. But there is a scene where like kind of the Decepticons are on
Hmm.
board the Ark, because that ship is called the Ark,
Hmm.
and they slaughter all the Autobots on
Oh my
there. And apparently
god.
it was a very traumatic event for kids like seeing the first movies. It's just like some of their favorite characters they grew up watching are just shot dead in the face, you know. So
Hmm.
that's kind of remind me of that, but also I'm like, oh damn, like some real shit went down. uh to me it's a big surprise because like everyone's dead, and
Hmm.
at least like that's what it's implied. Like I see Bumblebee over there, Autobots, Decepticon, Starscream, you know, like
Yeah,
everyone's dead, like no
it's
one
not one
survived this
side;
battle.
it's every side is dead.
Every side is dead, and makes me want to like, what the hell happened? But then off in the corner I see a jet, and I was one of
Mm.
the first things I noticed, like, oh,
I was like, "What is
uh
that?"
yeah, I was
Hmm.
thinking like, oh, like is that an Autobot, is that Decepticon? So like, oh, there are survivors.
Uh-huh.
But and then this is where my nitpickiness comes in. Oh
Okay.
shit! Well, like, how long ago did this happen? Why is this jet
Hmm.
barely coming in out? You know, so like that's the thing I wonder. So it's
Yeah.
just a lot of questions raised, like what happened, and I
But if
like
you
that
keep
establishing
reading the
shot.
comic, you'll figure it out.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
exactly.
saying.
So that's the thing. Like, what happened?
Uh-huh.
Well, we gotta keep
Now we gotta
reading to
keep
find out.
reading.
Yeah.
I think the thing that shocked me the most is because I don't know a lot of Autobots, but I can recognize Starscream out of a police line, and
I
I'm just
saw that. Yeah.
like him in the corner. So I was like, is this like a "I'll take you with me" type thing where they're like trying to kill each other? But
Honestly,
mm,
that would be a Starscream thing to do.
mm.
If he goes down, he makes sure everyone goes down with him. Yeah, yeah.
And I think we'll see later on in the book. If you haven't read Transformers like me, I feel like this book does a good job of establishing what type of archetypes they have. Like
Hmm.
Optimus, like Protector, Starscream, I will kill you. Like those kind of vibes,
100%.
you know what I mean? But
Hmm.
once again,
Cunning.
the art is beautiful. The detail is exquisite. You have a full page. Everyone looks great. Uh, but we'll cut to the next page, which is she's like over there, and I don't know what that sound effect is. It's like, what is it? Like
It's a
in the corner.
Transformers one.
Oh my god!
No, no,
Oh my god.
you
Okay,
gotta do it right. You gotta
okay,
go.
you do it.
That's how it's done.
I didn't hear anything on my end.
You didn't hear
I
that?
didn't do it. You have to do it again. I didn't hear anything through my end of the recording.
There you go. Did you hear that? Did you catch that?
I'm gonna pretend I did. But
Okay.
then who is this? This
That
guy.
is Jetfire.
Okay.
That is Jetfire. And I love how they
Mm,
kind of do something a little different with him,
mm,
in the sense that usually in the past,
mm,
Jetfire used to be a Decepticon, and then he converted over to the Autobots.
mm,
So he used to be part of like Starscream's entourage.
mm,
Um, I noticed in this one it's a little different. It's kind of like he's caught in the middle. I'm like, oh,
mm.
I thought we're like, as we keep reading, like, oh, I thought we're
Okay.
all getting
Mm,
along. I thought we're best buddies.
mm,
Ultimately, again, he chooses the side of good, so I do like that. I've always loved
mm.
Jetfire. He's cool. He's kind of like the scientist soldier type.
And I like this is your questions answered because he says, I had enough power to lift this ship from its mountain trap. I would bring
Mm,
you a home, but I only had enough energon to trigger the earthquake and reveal yourselves to me.
yes, I
So
love
then
that.
he plugs like a VHS into the machine, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know what
floppy
that
disk. Yeah.
is. And apparently it says like he that's him uploading schematics so they can have new forms.
Yes.
I think it's very interesting. What I do like is that in the panel to the left, the biggest one, you really see the scale of the Transformers compared
Mm,
to the humans.
tiny,
Like you see how big they are.
puny
And they're
humans.
puny humans, but I do really like that. We cut to the next page where it's like computer Teletron 1. Is that a thing? You can tell me.
Teletran one. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's
Okay.
been there since Generation One.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
this
just
is
like
why I invited you, so you can tell me these
it's,
things.
it's pretty much like a super smart computer.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
that's pretty much all it does. Yeah.
So he's like, Teletron 1, piece together, everyone. And then for some reason, Teletron 1 chooses to bring Starscream back first, which
First,
is
oh
the
my
worst thing.
god, the
Uh, I,
worst thing possible.
I like all the little pieces like flying back together.
That's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
And see what you said about him being a Decepticon or whatever, because he says, Starscream, my old friend, I haven't seen you in for centuries. So
Hmm.
that instantly establishes that they've been gone for centuries, apparently.
Apparently so.
Mm.
Yeah. And then again, it just shows like, okay, they're buddies, right? But
Yeah.
then think again once you turn the
Oh
next
my god,
page.
we're gonna go to the
It's
next
about to
page,
go down.
and then he's just like,
Boom.
"Oh, Jetfire, hold on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you guys do
Jetfire,
your
comrade,
yeah.
thank you for waking me." And then he goes, "I'm glad you finally picked the right side." And then he shoots Bumblebee in the face.
I was cracking up when I saw this. Like, oh,
And it's funny because you look at Jetfire or whatever, you look at his face in the background, and he has
yeah.
like full like, "What the fuck is
Fuck
happening?"
yeah.
But you
It's
look
like
at
freaking poor.
Starscream, huh?
Yeah. Starscream. He's just like he has that
He's in
classic
his
grin.
element. He's in his
His
element.
mischief, yeah, man. And then poor Bumblebee, man. It's
Oh my
it's
god,
always
Bumblebee can't
it's
take a
always
break.
the little guy. It's always the little guy, you know.
Hmm.
So for a while, there's this red looking version of Bumblebee called Cliff Jumper.
Hmm.
And for a good while, all the continuities, whether it was cartoons, comic books, um, they always killed him. He was always the one dying. Yes,
Oh my gosh.
Bumblebee and Cliffjumper are, and actually I like how IDW even addresses this. Where
Mhm.
at one point, um, they address the fact like how Bumblebee's more popular than Cliffjumper, even though they're identically the same, just different,
It's just
same
a different
model, just
color.
different color.
Mhm.
And there's even and I love how IDW like gives their own spin-off where like he's the center stage of his own story, where
Mhm.
everyone confuses him for Bumblebee, but then he becomes a hero. He saves like a planet of aliens and
Yeah.
stuff, and he's like, I'm not gonna live over Bumblebee's shadow. I'm gonna do my own thing.
Mhm.
But there we go. Now Bumblebee's getting the bad rap.
Oh
Now
my gosh.
I guess it's his turn.
I will say though, I love the color from the blast.
Yeah.
Like at the point of Starscream's laser, it's like this little white, and then kind of like emanates and like beautifully blends together. Like shout out Mike Spicer. If I say
It's
his name wrong, I'm so sorry. I don't know.
yeah,
He's not
I
gonna
don't
listen
know
to this.
either.
He's not gonna listen.
I don't. Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
but I love
But
the color
yes,
here. Hmm.
he got a nasty shot to the head, man. I wonder if they're gonna, because he got kind of shot in the mouth, right? Or is he gonna lose
Oh,
his
are they
voice
gonna do the
in
movie
this?
thing? You think?
Yeah, maybe, or the
Mhm.
cartoon thing where he loses his voice. I don't know. We'll see.
But we scroll down, and this guy Fire's like, "What are you doing?" And he's just like, and Starscream's just like, "Look at my wings.
Yeah.
I'm a Decepticon. I'm gonna kill them all. Like, what do you think I was gonna do?" Which I think is interesting because he's there's like this dissonance between the Fire guy and Starscream, where he didn't like. I guess he didn't notice the symbol on his wings. Like maybe centuries ago, that didn't mean what it meant now. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Exactly. So, um, I kind of feel like Jetfire. I was like, what the fuck
Hmm.
is going on? Like, so, so they're going with the classic war, Decepticons versus Autobots.
Hmm.
But also I'm kind of like on Jetfire's side. Like, how did this all
Hmm.
start? Like, maybe they'll do a flashback, maybe on
Hmm.
Cybertron. Or I would like to know exactly what's their version of how the
Hmm.
war was taken to Earth. Essentially, that's what I would like to know. So
Hmm.
a lot of times I kind of felt like Jeff Harris. Oh, snap, what's going on? I'm trying to play catch up here, and I kind of love how as they're arguing. Panel on the right, we still see Teletran 1 doing its thing, and we
Uh,
see Optimus Prime's arm. I'm like,
oh my
oh, okay,
gosh. And it
like
starts
here we
shooting.
go. It's
Here we
about to
go.
go down.
And then the next page, he's still trying to stop him. And he's just like,
Yeah,
"Stop! Out of my way!" And he's like, "This is
yeah,
madness." And he's like, "Exactly." And then just shoots him right in the,
yes.
like in the liver. I don't know how to describe it. Like in the side. Like,
To get it's a nasty shot,
hmm.
man. I'm like, oh damn! Like Starscream is
Hmm.
he's in his villain era, and he's doing quite a
Hmm.
good job at that.
And I think it's interesting because when he's shooting Bumblebee in the head, he's like smiling. But when you see he shoots like this
Oh,
fire, he looks like a little upset. He's like, "I didn't want to do this, but I need to do what needs to be done."
I didn't think of it
So I
like
think it's
that. And I love how expressive Jetfire is
hmm.
like throughout this whole issue. You
Hmm.
could tell when he's sad, when he's hurt, when he's dying. He's
Oh yeah. And we go to the bottom, and he's just like, "Oh, you're a weak ass bitch, Jetfire." Uh, and he points at I is that the
jazz.
Autobot symbol, and he's like, "This is the sign of evil."
Yeah, yeah.
Which is interesting
That's
because from what I know in the cartoons and from the movies, I feel like the Decepticons never play at being the ones in the right. Like from what I've seen in the movies, they're always just
oh,
like, "We're evil and we're gonna kill you all." But like
that's true. How
Starscream,
they embrace it, huh?
but I feel like in this Starscream's like they're fucking evil. I need to wipe them
They're the
out. Hmm.
which is what I like. Again, it's because it kind of steps away from the classic old days of, again,
Mhm.
of good guys versus bad guys. You know, that's how the Generation One did it. War is much more complicated than that, right? Everyone thinks there's the good guy, right? Autobots, I hopefully they kind of show the picture of the Autobots as, like, maybe they're trying to do good, but like they're a perpetrator of this war as well. So that's what I'm hoping to see as this kind
Mhm.
of like develops out. But you're right, that's a really good point. And then I kind of see, I like the little nod to Jazz they have right
Mhm.
there. He's just taking a snooze. So I was like, okay, they bring back a lot of classic characters.
Okay. Then we're gonna cut to the next page, where
Yes.
it's something grabs one of his shoulder, and it's Optimus, and he like neck taps him like
Boom.
And this page is very dynamic.
Yes.
Like
I love it.
I believe the writer Daniel Warren doesn't. I could be wrong. I believe that he's a big fan of wrestling. So
I noticed there's a lot of
mhm.
wrestling moves. Like,
So
oh
there's a
damn,
lot of
like,
wrestling
okay, yeah.
moves.
I saw that. Oh,
uh,
okay, okay, that makes sense now.
so then Optimus knocks him down, and we go back to our humans that are just like, whoa. And Optimus is just like, here's my Optimus Prime. Shooting beings while they lie helpless, Starscream. I thought you were a warrior. which is,
There you go. I like that one.
which instantly describes two things: that Optimus is ready to fight in a second, and that he has some honor, some semblance of a code.
All right, let
It's
me
like
try to
you
do
should just roll
Starscream
help.
here.
Okay, give me Starscream.
All right. You, Optimus Prime. I do whatever it takes. All right, how's
No,
that?
I love that. I love that better
All
than
right,
mine.
all right, cool, cool.
All right. Okay, and see, and then we go to the next page, and
Yeah.
I guess Optimus just pile drives him, like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was actually pretty awesome. I was like, oh shit, that's something Optimus Prime. But like,
uh-huh.
I've never seen Optimus Prime never do that, but I love that. He's done a lot of wacky
Uh-huh.
things: play basketball, do a slam dunk.
Mhm.
Now he's doing pile driving, which I'm all 100% for.
I'm all about it. And I love, once again, emphasizing how small these humans are.
Yeah,
And then Optimus finally sees him, and the girl, I forget her name, damn it. He's
Carly.
like, Carly, thank you. Carly's like, Spike, he's gonna see us, and Optimus had no idea what they are.
Mhm.
He's like, what are you? And he's like, I'm Spike. And then Starscream starts, he took out his gun and he started blasting. And Optimus is just like, get behind me, small creatures. And it's like,
I love these panels. Very detailed. Now the action's taking place. Yes, I love to see it.
and then we cut to the next page where there is a huge kadunk as which somebody's kicking somebody. Who is that?
That's Ratchet. That's the
Okay.
medic,
Okay,
the
he's
team
the
medic,
medic.
pretty much.
Okay, so he gives him like a big kick, and you look at Starscream's face.
It's like boom.
He doesn't even look mad. He just looks annoyed, like, Ratchet, we didn't invite you. Why are you here? It's just me and Optimus Prime's date. I don't know why you're here. But
I
it's very
love it.
funny. That also feels like sort of like an MMA wrestling type
Yeah,
kick. You know what I mean?
just right
Uh,
in the face.
just right in the face. We go down, and he's like, Ratchet, and so that's who we find out who it is. And it's like, Optimus, it's good to see you. And then he starts blasting, and this is the action.
Yeah, that's the action. That's
Mhm.
another uh part of the Seekers. That's Skywarp. Skywarp has the power to teleport.
Oh
So,
wow.
but you rarely ever see that power happen. I've only ever seen it in Transformers Earthspark, where they really
Mhm.
do a really good job of seeing Skywarp really like shoot across the sky teleporting. I don't see it in the video games, and didn't see it in the cartoons and any other comics, you know.
You think
So
that'd
it's
be
nice
like
to
a
see.
cool thing to have? I don't.
You would think so. You think they'll use it more often, but I guess not. So yeah, so Skywarp is part of the Seekers, which
Mhm.
Starscream. That's kind of Starscream's like entourage.
Mhm.
And fun fact, oh, from the IDW thing, the reason why they all look alike, but they're just different colors because Starscream, he's very narcissistic, and he only loves. He wanted to pretty much look at himself every time when he was surrounded by
Yeah.
by the Seekers. So
Uh
so every seeker, so that's why there's like multiple versions of uh of these Seekers that look very similar, just different color
huh.
schemes. It
No,
also
no,
kind of
no.
goes into
Mhm.
Generation One, how they would
Mhm.
just like Hasbro's like, how can we make more money?
Yeah.
but
I was about
also
to say,
using less parts.
don't give
Yeah.
me lore information. You know, they just wanted to sell alternate
Yeah,
colored versions
yeah.
of the same
They just
character.
yeah, exactly. So that's their way of explaining why
Uh-huh.
they all look the same. It's because Starscream wanted to look at himself
Mhm.
the whole time.
And you know what? That works so well for his character.
It does, 100%
Uh,
does.
but at the end of the page, you see he calls him by name, Skywarp. Uh, the machine's randomly getting us, and he brings over. I know that Decepticon. I don't remember his name, but I know him.
Soundwave.
Soundwave. So we cut back to the
Soundwave.
next page where they're blasted, and the medic's just like, just our luck. The Decepticons got activated first, and then apparently, can you explain to me why there's a trailer?
That's what I was thinking too, man. That's why this panel cracked me up. I was like, what? How did that get out of nowhere? Apparently,
Because the robot machine said it was reconstructing them new designs.
I don't have I still don't know how that trailer became constructed. And it's funny how it's big enough to fit like dozens of Autobots in there, because keep in mind they're massive, you know. So that's always been a thing in the TV show and the comics of these things. Again, the Autobots are supposed to be like 30, 40, 50 feet tall, right? But then it just doesn't make no damn sense of how they could fit inside a trailer.
You know, I think that's why they have so many like Bumblebee to be so small, so they're more like carry aroundable.
Yeah, maybe how. So IDW addressed it by calling it like mass displacement. It's apparently it's a normal thing. They try to normalize. Oh, it happens to all the Autobots whenever they change shape. You know, they gain mass and they lose mass. That's all it is. You know, so it kind of explains how like in Generation 1, Megatron was a 30, 40 foot tall robot, and then he transformed into a small gun.
Yeah.
So that's their best way to describe it. So that's how I guess that's how they explain it here.
I'm not upset
I'll
about
take it too. Yeah. Like, how do you fit all these Autobots, 40, 30 foot tall robots into a trailer? Well, just put them in there. It's all right. Don't worry. Don't think about it too much.
And you know what? We're gonna find out how they get them in there anyways. So
yeah, exactly.
In a second, you see Optimus grab his gun. He's like, "I'll buy you time."
And I love that it's famous ion blaster. He's had it from the very first days. So I love how they bring that back, and it's his favorite gun. Let's see how he uses it.
And then we cut to the next page where I already forgot this guy's name.
Soundwave, and I love that shot when he's getting like put together.
And if you look at the corners, that other Decepticon is so excited.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw
so
that too.
Excited.
Like, yeah.
He's like, yeah. He's like, we're getting the band back together, and he's so
exactly.
excited.
And I love it so much. Soundwave is pretty much like the spy of the group. He does espionage, he does surveillance, and he's one of my favorite Transformers ever. I love his helmet. I love like how mysterious he is, and I love how he he has his little buddies in his chest. We'll see in a little bit. And my favorite part is right off the bat, they went ahead and made him use his shoulder cannon. Very rarely does he use his shoulder cannon in the TV show. Every once in a blue moon, he'll actually use it. And instead, he uses like a regular gun he carries with him, like a regular like pistol. So I love it whenever he uses his shoulder cannon. It's the best thing ever.
I'm very excited. I also like the little sequence here where he's activating. Then there's like a small panel of him like locating.
Beep, 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 beep. Yeah.
And then he fires, and then I love the shot, the color and the shading of like Optimus getting hit.
Yeah,
and it's like
it is awesome.
And it's similar to the earlier page where it was like the stars took up the whole page. The blast is surrounding all the frames on the page, and it's so cool.
I love it.
And I will say in that trailer, they're kind of Jenga-ing all the Autobots into there.
Yeah.
Like that's how they're getting them all in there. Because if they were built, you couldn't fit them all in there. So they're kind of just like, we're throwing an arm here, a leg there. You know what I mean?
I see that, yeah. And then there's Ratchet with the Wheeljack. So Wheeljack is kind of like the inventor or the engineer of the Autobots. He's the one creating like wacky inventions to help the Autobots beat the Decepticons. And he's a smart genius, pretty much.
So you got to get him all together. You got to get him on board.
Yeah, we need him.
We are going to go to the next page where Optimus is on the ground, and he's so expressive.
Yeah, I love it.
Because I'm really only the movie person. I didn't know Optimus could be this expressive.
Oh, 100%.
And I wonder...
100%.
I wonder if this moment because we look back here where Optimus looks at Bumblebee's busted face and he's like,
Yeah.
Bumblebee, oh no, oh no.
Yeah.
And then you cut to a short panel of the kid's face.
And
And mhm,
I think he's like, oh damn, like at least what I thought when I saw this was like
mhm,
it kind of shows the softer side of Optimus because Optimus
mhm,
Prime has always been a big old softy.
mhm,
The first couple pages we saw, he's a badass and he's a warrior and
mhm,
like he's kicking ass, right? But and for me, it's always been. Sometimes I feel like Optimus characters sometimes could get lost, especially in comics,
mhm,
because you don't hear Peter Cullen's iconic voice, the voice of
mhm,
Optimus Prime, and within the movies, the cartoon shows, and in the video games, it's Peter Cullen's distinct
mhm.
voice that gives Optimus Prime like his
Oh yeah.
personality
Like the
that
moment you
shows his
hear it, it's instantly recognizable.
yes,
It's
exactly,
one of
and
those
it's
voices.
a combination of
Mhm,
strength but also softness,
mhm,
and this is what I really love of Optimus Prime. Again, it shows how expressive
mhm,
he is, even wearing a face helmet. But I think they do a good job here also with the drawings and with the choice of words that he says and his facial
mhm,
expression, showing that again he cares in a deep and deep down, he may be the leader, but it hurts to be the
mhm,
leader. To see, especially the people that he's promised to protect
mhm.
and to keep safe, injured like this.
And
Especially Bumblebee of all people
oh
too. Yeah,
yeah, his bestie.
his best here.
I think it's very interesting because this feels like it's gonna parallel the human journey.
Yeah,
Because on our first page, we saw a guy cradling another guy with like his eye blast out. And now we're on this page where Optimus is holding Bumblebee with his like face blasted out. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like you
yeah.
have those
War, man.
parallels. So when Optimus meets the dad, they might be able to like bond that way.
Yeah, you're right,
So
and I'm
I've
excited to see that. Yeah.
and you see you want to read the line because I love the way you read it.
All right, here we go. So Starscream's back
I
at it.
love it.
Like something.
I hope the recording picks. I hope the recording picks it up. Because I didn't hear it. I think you need to get closer to you. You need to project. That's all I'm gonna
Really? I don't know. Okay,
say.
okay.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But he's like, "Oh, you're the weakest of them all." And then he's just like, "Soundwave, help me." And then does Soundwave
Yes.
talk like everyone else, or is he like always
No, he's a robot. Like
okay?
Ravage, activate.
Okay.
He
And
talks like
Ravage is
very
his
robotic.
little chess thing.
Yep, a little cat. His little
Mhm.
cat friend. And yeah, Soundwave carries like three other people in there: Ravage, Laserbeak, Rumble,
Damn.
and I forgot the other ones. Um, but Ravage is like the number one's the most popular one. It's like a giant. It's like a cat, pretty much like a cute little
Yeah.
kitten,
Attack cat.
deadly kitten. Yeah,
But we go down, and I love two things here. You can see one if you look at the page and you zoom in on Starscream and Optimus, Starscream is like trying to pull Optimus's head like apart. Like he's trying
yeah,
to take the
man.
helmet. He's like trying to kill him. Like this is the thing. And then I love this next part where it goes down. Of course, the drawing is great, but the girl there is just like, we don't know what side he's on, and Spike is just like, I've this no, I'm gonna help him. He's clearly in trouble.
Yeah, and I love that. I
Because
love that. So that they're that's gonna show the
Carly,
relationship down
yeah,
the road. Yeah, yeah, they're gonna be.
Carly might be a bit more skeptical, and Spike might be a bit more like, I'm down to help.
And pushing. I don't know how they were able to push that heavy ass scene, but they did it, and they're helping out OP.
Well, I think it's interesting because if we judge like the panels as accurately as we can, the gun is like so close to him. Like he
Yeah,
can barely reach it. So I think they just need to push it a little bit.
just a little
So
nudge,
they
just a little
push it
bit.
a little bit.
But that's even crazy too. Like, look at the scale, like how
Hmm.
tiny they are, like versus a gun that could fit on like
They can fit in that
fit on
gun.
Optimus Prime's hand. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, they can.
And I think you mentioned the hands earlier. I love the hands here. They're so cool.
Yeah, yeah. Again, they're not robotic looking. Those like
Mhm.
they're very human like, but like as if they're wearing gloves.
Yeah.
And I like that. I guess it shows how expressive they are.
Hmm. Just like another like comparison to humans. We cut to the
Yeah.
next page where it's a bit more action. Optimus is sharpshooter shoots the cat, and Soundwave's like, my cat, and then he like elbows Starscream, and
Damn.
he does a barrel roll, and he's doing really good. But I guess in the background, more Decepticons are being born.
Yeah, there's refractor right there
Okay.
on the the far left transforms to a camera, and then at least I think that's Refractor. It looks like Refractor. And then on the right is one of the other Seekers that looks like Starscream. That's a Thundercracker right there.
Well, you know what they are? Dead, because Optimus Prime just shoots the thing and explodes the whole thing. And I think what's really cool about this are the three expressions we see. At the top of the page, you see Optimus. His eyes are a bit wide, like he's apologizing to this machine. Is the machine sentient? You would know.
I think so. Actually, I think so. It's like artificial. Like yeah. Okay, it's robotic, but it's. I think it's. I'm not too. I don't remember, but it's a huge ally for the Autobots. So for him to do that, I'm like, oh shit, like that's a big deal because Teletran 1's been with them, helping out with the war. Like it's a huge asset.
And I think it's interesting.
Yeah. Keep going.
No, I keep interrupting you. You gotta stop me.
I already forgot.
I just like that you look at Optimus's face and it's once again all shadow. It's a lot of shadow. You really just see his eyes on the top of his helmet. The coloring on the right of the explosion is just so cool. I love how like the sides of the blast look like a marker, like a Copic marker, and then the rest of it looks like just like I don't even know how to explain it, like almost like a splatter.
Splatter, yeah. I see
like,
that.
And it's so good. And then the bottom of his legs are like rough like that, which is very Daniel Warren Johnson to have like rough movements. And then you see Starscream. It's like, no! And you see his like the helmet.
Explains why he's devastated, because it's himself. He's looking at himself. Yeah.
And then we go to the bottom where the medic is just like, Optimus, we're loaded up, and then his face is like, whoa. We cut to the next panel where it's really fucking cool. Optimus running. I didn't realize how tiny his head was compared to his chest.
Oh yeah, that's.
Is it normally that tiny?
No, I'm just curious. It's actually kind of a lot of Transformers fans think about like how do they move their heads up and down, because they have like wide ass bodies, and sometimes you can't even see their neck. So can they even look down? So there's a running joke where like. Their chest is so huge, they're like breasts, like giant breasts, and they can't even look down, kind of thing.
You know what? They're robots. I'm sure their heads can extend and turn.
Maybe they can. I don't know. But that's always a thing with Transformers fans.
But shout out to the artist, shout out to the colorist. This is such a cool panel. Him running, like you can't see his feet, like he's running through the fire. And this is another thing about Optimus. He rescued the humans. He didn't forget about them. They helped him and he scooped them up and just ran. And that
was an awesome shot.
It's really cool. We go to the bottom and he's I need you to say it. I love it. I love what you do it.
What is your malfunction, Soundwave?
See, I heard that. That was really good.
Okay, there we go.
And he was just like, power low. He's just like, we need all power. Energon reserves are nearly empty. And then, see, they're trying to escape. And, okay, can you find Energon anywhere? Or is it like a special, you have to special mine it?
Energon is a very rare resource, especially on planet Earth.
Okay.
So here's how they usually break it down. It's different in each continuity, but apparently... Earth and Cybertron have a relationship. And one, the planet Cybertron is it's a Transformers god called Primus, and Primus is the good god, the one that gives life and gives light to the world. Whereas Earth is the all opposite. It's Unicron. That's the evil twin of Primus, and the Unicron is the one that's evil. So that's how they explain how there's Energon on planet Earth in the past. It's best not to overthink it. Again, like this is Energon. Energon's just like a resource that powers the Transformers and everything that they do. And you'll be surprised how many planets would have it. A rare reserve, and the Transformers know how to find it, and they mine it, and
All right, beautiful. We're gonna go to the next page, which is I had to turn if you have the physical comic, you have to like turn it, which is fun. I like to do that. And it's this big shot where they're like, vroom, and Optimus says his famous rollout.
I love it. I love to see it.
Once again, they're just driving off a cliff. They're mad lads. The art here is wonderful. I love like the speed lines in the back. And they just drive off a cliff. And you see like the little trailer like jumping up. And you get the from the humans, and luckily they land on like a cliff or something. And he's just like, what in Spark's name is your cab? And he's just like, I'm not sure. These small creatures must be natives of this place. And it's just, I just love they know nothing about humans. They're just like, I don't know where we are. We're getting shot, grab our homies, and we're dipping. Like
Yeah, and I love how Cassie's just all friendly. You know, like it just reminds me of like it's just having a good time. It's like a family movie. It's like as if I'm watching a family movie. Like, oh hey, like a little goofy scene, you know.
Mm-hmm. But they are being chased. He's like, you fools are weaker. And then we cut back to I forget this guy. Jetfire, who's I guess like the robot version of Bleeding Out, I guess.
Yeah, he's leaking energon. He's leaking fluids. Energon. Yeah. It was oil.
Which is dumb. He should have like tried to close. I'm just gonna be nitpicky. I'm gonna be mean. He should have tried to close his wound first before going to.
Easier said than done, man.
But he transforms into, I guess, a jet, and he starts fighting. And I had to look at these panels a couple times because I got confused by where everyone was moving.
They look the same. They have the same color scheme. Starscream and Jetfire kind of look the same. Yeah.
I think that's helpful though because I know they're the bad guys and they're both going the same way.
Yeah.
So here, let's read this next panel. You can start it.
All right, let me see. You up? Why did you stop the hunt?
Starscream, my energon.
We've never been closer to wiping them out for good. Press on!
I'm about to run into the ground. We must turn back.
Sleep with one eye open, Optimus. Chuck, chick. It's transforming back. I like it. I like the transforming scenes in actually in this comic. I know it doesn't show the complete transformation, but I like how it, like when back in a couple pages shows like Optimus Prime like folding his arm in, or the Skywarp in the page before kind of like folding inward. So I like it. I like how they do the transforming scenes. I want to see more of it.
I like you can see Skywarp, like you can see his back is still open, like he's still like
I like that. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. We cut to the next page where Spike is like, here, I'll take you to the quarry or whatever, because that's where all the cool teens hang out. And the name drop Jimmy is dropped once again.
Yeah.
And then we see poor Jetfire. He's like, I'm gravely injured, Optimus. And we cut back. This is very interesting. This is where we get some interesting information, like not straight up information, because if Jetfire stayed around, he'd be able to like spill all the tea, you know, but he's dying. So we don't get anything, but he's just like, I have been away for centuries. I did not know about this war. I didn't even know you were Prime. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've gotten short information from you. Prime is like a role you're given, right? It's like being a leader.
Yes, that's right. It's and you're also given the matrix of leadership. It's a part of Primus. Again, they're God, and over the centuries, there's been different types of primes. In the very beginning, there are 13, the 13 original primes. That's kind of how the story goes, how Primus broke himself into 13 parts. And then since then, there's only been one elected prime after that. And I'm trying to think, Nova Prime or Sentinel Prime are the predecessors, the ones before Optimus. Is that the right word?
I don't. Yeah, that's the right word.
So I'm trying to think what other useful information I could share with you.
I will say I think it's very interesting because they established two things. One, he's been gone looking for a way to help their home with, I don't know. I know in some media they need more energon, so I don't know if that's what he was looking for. But he's just like, I've been away so long, I didn't even know there was a war. But he's been gone a long time because I think Starscream said they've been fighting for like hundreds of years, like 300 years.
That's right. Yeah. But, and in the old comics, you were fighting for 1,000,000 years.
Oh my God.
And so now, okay, so it's coming to me. So what makes a prime is they wield the matrix of leadership. That's the only thing that makes him a prime. And it's actually funny because previous primes, they've said they're the Prime, and they would actually like install a fake matrix of leadership
Oh my
inside of them
gosh.
that lights up, but it has no power. That's how they did, just to shoot prove that I'm the new Prime and you got to acknowledge me, and everyone fall in line.
Oh my gosh. It's kind of
And
like when
ID
you get a knockoff bag and you're like, this is real Prada, but it's not actually
Yeah, pretty
Prada.
much, yeah. And it's funny because at one point, people thought the Matrix of Leadership was actually a myth because that's how long it's been missing.
Hmm.
So it wasn't until Optimus Prime, Primus himself, the core of Cybertron, woke up and pretty much gave him the Matrix of Leadership. Like, you are the new Prime. You are worthy to wield it because you got to be worthy, all
Hmm.
essentially.
And we get another character moment for Optimus because Optimus opens up his
Yeah,
chest and is
yeah.
like,
There it is. The
and
Matrix of
then
Leadership
he's
is right
like,
there in
the
his
Matrix
chest.
can heal, but it can't stop the inevitable.
Mm,
And I
and it's
think
sad.
once again, it's that interesting thing where like um Optimus has to be expressive through his eyes because he has a
Mhm.
mask over his mouth. So like he's just like he's in mourning,
Yeah,
and
it's sad,
I think it's
and
so sad. Especially, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it's hard to see Jetfire go like that, man. Like, he's cool. I've always liked Jetfire as a character. And he actually, I think he has an Australian accent in the
Right.
Generation One,
Has
and
anything
which is
changed? Is there any more hope, bro? I
oh,
can't
yeah,
do that.
something like that. Yeah,
Crikey, my
yeah.
didgeridoo.
Or in, like, it's somewhere in the video games, he has an Australian accent. It's actually pretty awesome. It's badass, and it's, and again, like, I love how expressive Jetfire was from the very beginning when he was shocked, when he got shot in the stomach, when he was, and now when he's dying. I was like, damn, man, sucks. It's covered in oil.
Like it,
Again, like,
the colors and the drawing is very good
yeah,
to show how
man,
messed up he is.
yeah, he's in really bad shape, and that's cool. He's like, it kind of shows the type of leader like Optimus Prime is. He always puts himself first. He puts others first. You know, like, he always do his best to take care of his crew,
Mhm.
and he gets devastated whenever he loses someone.
I think it's so interesting here because this guy, this Starfire, whatever,
Jetfire.
Jetfire, sorry, R.I.P. Jetfire. Jetfire says he's been gone. He says centuries of searching for healing our home and nothing. And he asked him like, has anything changed? Is there any hope, Prime? And you
Yeah,
think if someone's dying, you would like at least lie to them. You'd be like, there's always hope. Like you'd give something, like try to give them like a peaceful end. Like it's gonna be okay. But Optimus says, I don't know. And
damn.
I think
Yeah.
that's an interesting, like, Optimus is not gonna lie to you. He's not
No.
gonna he's gonna be straight up and he's just like, this is I don't know. And it's just so
And
sad because when the other guy dies, he's like, I have failed in my mission.
yeah,
Cybertron will die, everything will die. And then he dies.
yeah, man. And that's it. He's gone.
Uh-huh.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, I didn't think of it like that. IDW kind of challenged the notion that Optimus Prime was a good leader, um, by saying that he was a flawed leader to
Mhm.
the point where he would lie. So, and he would, yeah, he would essentially lie, kind of weave his way through the politics of being a leader. But I like how this one, again, just cuts back to the basics
Mhm.
of him being kind of like the dad of the group, being the
Yeah.
leader of the group, and all essentially not. He again, he wouldn't lie. He wouldn't lie to his crew.
Mhm.
His crew is everything to him. So we see how he carries every death with a heavy heart.
Oof, and it's funny because I barely know these characters, but it's such like a powerful sequence of panels where it's like this, and then on the right, it's very much a panel in the corner, a long one where there's no words. He's just holding him,
Yeah.
and it's really sad. We cut to the next page where we cut back to the Decepticons, and they're really pissed off because they can't fix the machine that was fixing all of them.
Hmm.
So it's only for now. It's only the three of them.
But
Uh,
they're running low on
mhm,
juice. That's
they're
essentially
running
what's
low on
going on,
juice.
and it shows like the classic Decepticon stuff where they may be on the same team, but they don't
Mhm,
act like a team, right? And we especially
mhm.
see that with Starscream. Starscream loves barking orders, and I love this little hint
Oh my
where
gosh! Yep.
Soundwave drops these
Here,
words
wait.
like,
I'll say it. I'll say it. We'll do
okay,
it. Okay. This is like,
all right,
uh, you have the most
that's
energon reserved. Thus, harvesting is up to you. it's what Meg.
And like, don't you say his name. I am the leader of the Decepticons now.
I know that's like his most famous line. Like, I am the leader of
Yes.
the Decepticons. So it's just,
I am the new leader. Yeah, but I love how they they're close to name dropping Megatron, and that's I've been wondering this whole time. Like, where is Megatron? What happened? What happened to Mega? What happened to good old Megs?
and I think it's interesting. Like, is Meg's dead? Is he captured? Because I
Yeah, or is
know,
he? Yeah.
is he lost? And it's interesting because I know Starscream is it's like the general that's always trying to take over the army.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a very interesting. Like, there's such hatred on his face.
Yeah, and yeah, I love how cunning. I've always loved how cunning Starscream is. And then poor Soundwave, look at there. He's like just taking care of his little kitty who got hurt. You know, like poor Ravage. You know.
But we go down. Oh, he also mentions Laserbeak. He sent Laserbeak to scout for resources.
Yes.
So
So
shout out to
Laserbeak is pretty much a flying vulture.
Oh, okay,
Pretty
gotcha.
much, it's a vulture. Yeah.
But we go down to the bottom of the page where we return to the dad, who I guess name is this the first time we learn his name is Sparky, or is that like a nickname?
No, I think they said it in the beginning too.
Okay,
I think that's a nickname. I honestly, I don't know. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But there you go, working in the mines. You know, trying to get off, clocking off for the day.
But yeah, they're getting out of the day because they're working the mine. And he's just like, oh, you need to fucking help your kid. And he's just like, what do you know about what I've gone through? And then we cut to the next page where there's like an explosion. And then it's just Starscream just destroying stuff.
Yeah, he's trying to get some juice for his crew.
And I feel like it's funny because the few times I've seen Starscream, I feel like they always, no matter how high ranking he is, he always ends up doing like the dirty work.
He's a dirty work, or he ends up being the coward, right? Oh, the self-centered one. But there he is. He's complaining, like, oh, well, I always got to do everything, you know. I got to do it by myself, you know.
And then we go to the bottom, and the coworker's like, "Let's get out of here." And he's like, "Dave, wait." And he's like, "What's this now?" And then this next page is fucking horrifying.
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go for it.
Okay.
Are you not in this place?
And then he's just like, "No, no."
Yeah, so fragile, so squishy. Oh,
and then squishes him.
I love that. I love that brutality because you don't see that. You don't see that too often of a transformer killing a human. I think it only implied once. I've only ever seen it once, where Jazz, actually one of the Autobots, shoots a cop. Because I think the cop had a gun, a powerful gun manufactured by Megatron, and the cop shot Bumblebee, so Bumblebee was gravely injured. But Bumblebee knew that if any of them shot back, then that's it. It tarnishes their reputation of them trying to be good and be like, hey, we're the good guys, right? Not all the robots are bad. Then Jazz caved under the pressure and just like vaporize, and then you see the vaporization of the cop. Oh, he's screaming. But never I seen it. Yeah, I never seen blood like this. Squish.
You know what this means, guys? Awesome. If you support the police and the infrastructure, you're a Decepticon.
You're a Decepticon, essentially, yeah. Be an Autobot.
But there's three things I want to mention here. Throughout this comic, Daniel Warren Johnson does this thing where when he wants to emphasize like an action or a look, he'll cut out the background and make it like a solid color. So like, I think there was a moment where like Optimus is reaching out for something, like he's talking to someone and like it's a white color and it's just like to emphasize the movement. And like this panel where Starscream's like reaching out for this guy is horrifying. That's like the glee on his face, like, because you don't see the background, it's emphasized on the two of you, like the glee on Starscream's face and the horror in this guy's. And then we go down and the expressiveness of like, oh my god. And then we go back down to like the squish text in blood and like splattering on his face like paint is just insane.
So pathetic. Damn, man. I love that. I love the brutality of it. I want more.
Want more. And then that's the end of the issue.
To be continued. It's a good one. It's a good start. Off to a good start. 2 thumbs up.
I can say I read the last reboot IDW did. Shout out Rebel. I love him.
Oh.
But I think it's interesting that I just felt more engaged with this one than I did with the
Yeah.
one that took place on Cybertron, because their last reboot before they lost the license, it was about Cybertron. I don't even remember if Optimus was. I think they didn't even. Oh, you know what? In that they didn't even call themselves. They called themselves Decepticons. They weren't even Decepticons
Yeah.
yet. So I
Yeah.
think
They
that's just
pretty
so
much.
interesting.
Yeah, they've tried like I think they start from the very beginning,
Yeah.
how the war started, and it just started too slow. Again, they had its good moments, and I like the
Mhm.
spin-offs when IDW did all the spin-offs again of Cliff Jumper, reclaiming his own identity, stop living in the shadow of Bumblebee, how they dealt with the Wreckers, where the
Mhm.
Wreckers are pretty much like the Autobots like mercenary group. They're the ones that go on and
Mhm.
do the dirty work. So I love all the iterations of it, except for the main storyline. Storyline, personally for me, was just too slow. I couldn't get on board. But of course, that's just me.
But yeah, I love this first issue. I really enjoyed it. I'm not a big Transformers person, but I think I might return for the second one. Um,
Honestly, if you buy me
mhm.
another issue, I'll read the second one.
Well, you know what? If people watch this, we'll do the second one together. We'll just have
Oh,
a whole series where we just follow the whole fucking comic. But yeah, what would you? Two questions for you.
yes.
Um, how many Energon cubes out of 10 would you rate this?
I will
And
give
what?
it. Uh-huh. Okay, what's your second question?
And second question is, would you suggest this for new readers slash return older readers?
I will give it a solid 8 out of 10 Energon cubes. I
Okay.
like how it kind of goes with the classics.
Hmm.
It seems like they're trying to do their own thing. I love the art style. I love the artwork because I'm a little nitpicky about that too. The art style needs to be good, because I can't get on board of a new series or new Transformers comic if I don't like this art style,
Hmm.
and so far I like the storyline. There's a couple gaps here and there, but
Hmm.
as I later I found out, if you keep looking through the pages, they already did like 4 issues of what Jetfire was doing for those
Hmm.
centuries of trying to save the planet. Because this whole time I was like, what the hell's going on? But then I kept reading, towards the end of the day,
Hmm.
advertise the other comics coming out, and that's
Oh
when they
yeah.
mentioned
Hmm.
Jetfire is doing his own thing. So, oh, okay, that makes sense. So maybe I should read that one. So again, a couple gaps here and there, storyline wise, but I love it. It's fun. I love like the fight scenes, the wrestling moves they put in. I can't wait to see how they expand more against the human and robot relationships
Hmm.
because I really want to see that, and hopefully they do it really good. Um, and I would encourage 100%. I'll encourage any Transformers fan, new and old, to read this new one.
Hmm.
Again, Transformers. When it comes to the franchise, you can't stick to the old ways. You always gotta embrace the new stuff. Even when the new stuff kind of goes towards the classics, you still gotta be faithful to it. And I like how each and every time it gets revived, it picks up from the last, but it also kind of brings its own stuff to the table. So I cannot wait to see what they offer to the table. Because again, you gotta, just like the Transformers franchise, you just gotta keep moving. You gotta keep morphing into something else. You can't stay the same, and that's
Yeah.
what I like.
You gotta always transform and roll out.
Roll out, exactly. What about you, man?
I give this. You know what? I think I give this 9 out of 10 Energon cubes. I really freaking enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would. Because I thought I was gonna make fun of it this whole time, but I just I just wish I had a. It makes me wanting more. I just have any details I have are small minor ones that are more so just like the layout of the panelings that
Same.
just
Just
distract
little
me. Yeah,
nitpicks.
little
Yeah.
nitpicks that don't like interfere with the enjoyment but are still there. But yeah, and I would definitely I agree with your new and old fans. If anybody ever wants to borrow it, I'll think about it. But at my comic book shop, they're all sold out, so I don't know what to tell you. But thank you so much, Rudy. I
Of
think it's been
course.
like an hour and a half. I don't know how long we've been recording.
Honestly, I
Um,
don't know. Yeah, I lost track of time. What time is it? Oh shit.
it's not yeah. But
Well, there we
thank you
go.
so much. Thank
Talk
you so
about
much for
Transformers all night.
talking. Talk about
Of course, thanks
Transformers
for
all
inviting me.
night. If anyone's interested in following you on anything, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Yes, follow me on Twitter or Instagram, Rudy's All Right, and Facebook, Rudy Pinedo.
Oh,
Thank you.
oh my gosh, you're plugging Facebook.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
back.
god.
It's back, baby.
You can follow me at Noah is Garcia on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You could follow my photography works on Noah Garcia _photography. I think I might change that soon though. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want us to do more Transformers, let me know. I think I might do other series with other friends. Like I already have some for our friend Lewis. I already have ideas that I want to do with him and a few other people. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, let me see.
That was awesome, man.
Thank you. Stop recording.